Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? It's the old Git here. Yes, it's time for another one of the old Git's rants. Now, it's really good that I'm getting quite a lot of feedback, and this is the kind of this video today is sort of a second part. Well, not really a second part, but the last video I did when we talked about how Islam takes over a country, and we discussed Lebanon and things like that. So today it's sort of connected, shall we say. Uh, Two-tier. Now, I couldn't think of a short title for this, to be honest. What I'm talking about is two-tier. If you're white, you're labelled far right. And if you are radical, attacking Western values, it's okay. Now, my question today is, in the UK and Europe, we've always been proud of freedom of speech. True or false? We've always been proud of it. We've always been able to say whatever we want and how we want. And if somebody didn't like it, sometimes you might even get a punch on the nose. But we've had freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. And no one got prosecuted for hurting words or insulting words. In fact, society was considered grown up enough to deal with these situations. We didn't need, and still don't need, a nanny state to deal with this for us, because we're big enough and daft enough to deal with people saying things that you might not like or you might like. But words, well, let's just go back to what our parents taught us when I was a child. And they taught us sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Well, they can't. I can say any word you want and I can't give you pain. Although some of you wokies are telling, oh, you give me mental pain. I'll have to go and lie down. I need therapy, which is another load of bullcrap. But basically, when I grew up, it was all about, well, you say what you want. Freedom of speech. Wars have been fought to keep freedom of speech. People have died prematurely to keep freedom of speech, and we have it, and it shouldn't be messed about with, particularly now. Okay? Now, as I said, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But now it seems that our new dictatorship, because they're not a government for me, or even for you even, that we have a government. Comrade Starmer and his goons are taking this right away from you, from the white indigenous people of the UK. Yes, from the white indigenous people of the UK, he's taking your right of freedom of speech. And also from other citizens who don't happen to follow what I call the protected clan of radical Islam. No Islam, I've explained this before, and I'll say it again. There's many, many Muslims who came to the UK and all they wanted is to have a good life and get on with it. It's not happening. So if you're a Sikh, Hindu, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, whatever you are, your religion is, if it's not the protected one, you say hurty words, you can end up going to prison. You can end up in jail. You can end up getting the police knocking on your door. Now, I know. Sorry. I'll start that again. No, what I want to know is why so many people from the non-Islamic faith are being sent to prison when radical hate preachers are all over social media proclaiming that they want to destroy Western culture and convert the world to their form of Islam. Well, for me, that's treasonous. That's treason. That is inciting violence from various communities. That is empowering people who think they have the right to do this, to go ahead and do it. And it's happening in the UK all the time. people going out and, radicals praying in the streets, showing that it's a show of force. We can do it, you can't stop us. And, they want to convert the world to their form of radical Islam. And treason, I think there should be a treasonous call to stop them from doing it. And that's going on. All non-Muslims can't say a word. If they do, they end up in prison for 30 words. Now, what I want to show, what I think I should be banned and yet is not taken down, is all the things that are leading up to the takeover by them getting freedom of speech and you not getting freedom of speech, if you know what I mean. Okay? And first I want to talk about who controls the funds, this sick sort of activity, to all this sick activity in the UK. And I know of one, but there's many others, but one predominantly because this group that I'm going to tell you about now are actually supported by the government. It's called the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, what I'm going to do, instead of me explaining it to you, let me get this keyboard out of the way because it's in my way. I've got a keyboard in the way, yeah. I want you to hear somebody else say it, who is not white Caucasian person, who comes from a country that is an Islamic country and is run in a nice way. I want you to hear what he's got to say in regard to who is funding all this radical Islamic rubbish. So let's listen to it, shall we? So here we go.
The Muslim Brotherhood are controlling more than 86 mosques and schools around the UK. And they control charities such as Islamic Relief. I am proud to be from a country that's called United Arab Emirates. In UAE, we have the Muslim Brotherhood, which Hamas is the armed forces of it, banned. In UK, it's not banned. In Chelsea, where a kosher restaurant was attacked, these people have a problem with the stomach of a Jew what he eats and consumes. That's extremism. You have a lot of extremists all the way here. If a kosher restaurant gets attacked all the way in Chelsea, if a Jewish person cannot put his kippah or his Orthodox identity all the way in Small Heath, and you can do a social experiment on this, then you have an issue of extremism and a growing of Muslim brotherhoods. They're controlling your society and they censor your freedom of right of criticizing them in the name of Islamophobia. Take the same Jewish Orthodox person all the way in Dubai on the 8th of October, on the 7th of October, on the 6th of October, all the way up to this point. He can freely show his identity with a pride and put the pin of free the hostages and also the flag of Israel on his chest. And the Palestinians side by side, he can do exactly the same thing and express himself. That's a freedom of expression. But if the other person gets insulted and the other person has been justifying it, that's not freedom of expression. That's you destroying a whole society. And when a society criticizes you, you start bullying them in the name of Islamophobia and others. A few years ago, our founder of the country, Sheikh Zayed, he wanted us to reach Mars. So he sent us to some of all the universities all around the world, and we have some of the students who are here from the UAE studying here to go back and thrive and serve humanity. That's what we do. And then when we came here, we learned, we went all the way back to the UAE, we reached Mars. We achieved it. While we were doing that, someone was digging a tunnel to kidnap an 8-month-old baby from his mom. 2 different visions in the Middle East. You choose, for those who are chanting on the street, which vision do they prefer?
As you can see, that man's from the UAE, and he told it in those certain terms that, the radicals are sort of taking out over the asylum. He did a comparison to how Muslims behave in the UAE, how they conform, and how they get along with the Jewish people too. And he was upset that on the 6th and the 7th and the 8th September, when the terrible atrocities, people were going through tunnels and killing 8-month-old babies. That's what the man said. Now, you got that from a Muslim. And I do say there's good Muslims. Now, the Stasi government is protecting and aiding and abetting and supporting the very people who wish to take you over. They're pushing their sick ideology through British mosques and communities. That's what they're doing, and that's what they're funding. And the younger kids will get sort of, oh, Star Trek, this is what we should be doing. It's all, So how do you know this is going on? Well, Islam is not a religion. It's a civilization which tried to expand and spread its influences around the world. The Muslims do not emigrate to Muslim countries, the bad ones we're talking about. They emigrate to Europe and America, Australia, and other democratic countries to apply the laws of Sharia. They hate Western values and they hate Western culture. And, well, first, let's just give you another clip, because I could be telling you this, I could be lying. Well, let's play you another clip, and then we'll talk about that too.
1,000 people die every year because of the alcohol. We are sick and tired of democracy, and we are here to provide you an alternative, and that is the Sharia. That is Islam. Oh, people of Britain, take a look around you. Do you not see the corruption? Do you not see the oppression? Look to how your democracy, it failed in the coalition government. Look to how your democracy, it failed when all of you wanted no war in Iraq. Oh, people of Britain, wake up. We as the Muslims have woken up a long time ago, and we are here to tell you that we will never stop struggling. We will never stop calling. We will never stop striving until the black flag of Islam is all over the world.
Well, there you go. That's from the horse's mouth. That's in London. That's people screaming for Sharia law, and you can see the guy that was talking there's quite young. But again, for me, if you're going against the law of the country, you are, in actual fact, attacking that country. But again, nothing is said. Imagine that I went to one of the countries that they come from and started saying, we're bringing civilization to you, we're going to bring Christian law to you. I'd be stoned to death within 5 minutes. But here, they're doing it and they're getting away with it. It's kind of sick, really, that we've got these infiltrators coming in. They are putting the fear of Allah into the good Muslims because, they're in the mosques and they're saying, all sorts of threats. And of course, a lot of them don't want to conform with the radical Muslims. They don't want it, like we don't want them. But they are too afraid because they've seen what's happened in their countries. I refer again to my last video. And if you want to really see the modus operandum of taking over a country by Muslims, there I talk about the takeover of Lebanon. They did it within 3 generations. And the same MO is being used to take over Europe. And so far as I see, it seems to be working because we've got stupid left-wing governments, well, communist governments, right? And they openly tell Muslims that they should not follow the law of the host countries. This is what they preach. You don't. Hey, that's man-made law. You can't follow that law. You must follow Sharia. And I think telling people to defy the law of their host country, in other words, break the law in their country, follow a law that's not the law of the country is a crime too. Nothing's ever said. They've got 30 odd, or I don't know how many now, Sharia courts. How can they run courts using a law that's nothing to do with the UK? It's alien. I believe they should be all shut down. Again, if I went to, I don't know, Pakistan or Bangladesh and said, right, I'm going to open the law courts, the Royal Courts of Justice, using all English law today, and no more Sharia, again, I'd probably get stoned. But in England, oh no, come on, do as you like, do as you like, you're all right. Well, you know, it's okay. And the radical preachers make it very clear that we should not follow the law of the land. And these statements that they're making all across social media is being played out every day, and it's indoctrinating people to believe it, and the more they get stronger and bolder, because there's more and more of these people coming online, and not just on TikTok. I get a lot from TikTok because it's easy to download, but it's all over the place. Let's look at this.
If we live in a society where Islam is not in the ruling system, we need to work to change that.
But what does that mean in practical terms?
It means if there's a contradiction between Islamic law and the British law can go to hell.
British law can go to hell. You tell his accent, he's definitely from England, and there's many like him. In fact, the other day I couldn't find it, I was going to download it. There's a preacher in Birmingham with a pistol in his hand, shouting that Sharia law and are you ready to take over? But it's even more scary because not only are they indoctrinating people out of the mosques to do their bidding, not only getting away with it, and the government of the day is letting them get away with it. Nobody's getting pulled over the coals. Nobody, when they're armed with machetes out parading around the streets, no arrests were made. Only if you say something hurty and you're white, or you're a Sikh, or you're a whatever else, you'll get arrested. Isn't that strange what that's going on? It's all done, according to this government, or according to what I've heard, to get that vote. I'll tell you something in a minute about that vote. But anyway, and what's even more frightening, because they can get away with it, they're recruiting people now for something else that you might find very scary, but it's going on in the UK. I would like you to watch this.
Different images and thoughts.
If you are interested in joining Spiritual Warrior 2020,
Well, I'm glad it cut off before he could give you the number, because I don't want you to go joining into a paramilitary training camp. I mean, this infiltration goes so deep. I mean, for me, that was kind of a bombshell. I mean, Islamist-linked group accused of running paramilitary training camps with ties to Iran and the IRGC. They spark fear in me, because there's no smoke without fire. So not only they predicted that they are going to take over, not only are they saying, I mean, there's lots of things going on, saying things that what you should do to the people you capture, make them slaves, kill them, take their women. And it's all over social media. Why isn't the government looking at this. Never mind going running off over the world saying, look at us, aren't we good? We're going to make Palestine, recognise Palestine. Not in my name, you're not. You know, even the Arab states will not take one refugee from Palestine. Why? Let's speak the truth. Speak it how it is. Unfortunately, these people are indoctrinated from birth to be terrorists, to hate the white, to hate Western culture. You see, I've got videos of them in their school with toy Kalashnikovs standing over people like in execution style. These kids are 3 and 4 and 5 years old. If they're indoctrinated from that age, what can you do? What are they going to do? What are they going to be? And that's why none of the Islamic countries will take a refugee from Palestine. And of course, Stasi Starmer thinks he's some kind of world leader when he's the laughing stock of Europe, the worst prime minister that Britain's had in the whole of history, with his idiot crew behind him. But never mind. But paramilitary training camps in the UK should ring some alarm bells. But the infiltration continues even at a higher level. And what I want to do now is show you something that you're probably aware of, but you weren't aware that what's going on. So I'll play you this as we talk about it, but we'll show you this little picture as we start going. And whilst that's playing away, despite rising Islamophobic sentiments, a record number of 25 Muslims have been elected to the House of Commons in the recent British Parliament election. Several pro-Muslim independent Palestinian candidates secured victories in former Labour Party strongholds. And these independents included Iqbal Mohammed in Dewsbury and Batley, Betley and Leicester South, Adnan Hussein in Blackburn, and Job Khan in Birmingham, Perry Barr. How can it be that the candidates whose allegiance seem to be towards a foreign Islamic country and not to the UK, how can they be of any use to us? Again, infiltration. Remember that word, because I'll put the little, the calendar of doom or the clock of doom. I'll put that up in a bit. Then you tell me where we are. But infiltration at the highest level. People are not there to represent you, but they are representing these pockets of areas where Muslims are the highest inhabitants of that area. As it's London, as Sadiq Khan, who attends every religious festival there is, but he has to drag his feet if it's a Christian one. And in Birmingham, you can't say a lot in Birmingham if you're white. And I think white people move. So already we've got London and Bacchus, Birmingham, whatever you call it. I don't know, whatever name they're going to call it. These people, London itself is as big as Palestine, and it's been radicalised. Everything's been geared towards them. By the way, if you can hear a little whirring noise or something, I've got the air conditioner on here in Spain. It's 31 degrees right now, and so I'm not going to turn it off. Weird. And it's 7:10 in the evening. Anyway, so it's the plane, it's the nose on your face, the object over, and the object is to take over. And the information is passed freely over social media because they have total freedom of speech. You haven't. They have. They do what they want. Nobody questions it. But not for you. They have it. Your Stasi government is marching you to oblivion. But hey, don't say a word. If you do, you could end up in Stalag Starmer. Just remember why radical Islam. Tell them they have the luxury of freedom of speech, and let them tell us finally what they're going to do. And they make no mistake about it. They want to take over the world. And the reason they come to non-Muslim countries, this radical, the very radical Muslim way, they're radical. They're not. I don't think they're not real Muslims. The ideology is ancient and outdated. You know, when you hear the guy who spoke at the beginning, he's from the UAE. They live in Islam, but everybody's welcome. You're not welcome in your own country. But let's just give the final. It's not me saying they're going to take over. It's them. And I want to know. I'm asking the question, why is this stuff all over the internet? And a woman who says a dirty word, or a man says, one man who held up a placard ended up hanging himself, being sent to jail. But not certain people who did certain things just happen to be members of the Stasi group. Get away with what they do. It's only if you are, if you're not a left-wing person, you don't support this government, you're right-wing, and that's it. So let's listen to, finally, from this person who says the real reason why Islam is here.
Allah is not shy of the truth. We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion was sent to dominate the world. It was sent to be superior, to extinguish the light of every other religion and to be superior to it. We're not shy to say it, and we don't find that to be something that we should be shy to say. That this religion has been sent to dominate, to wipe out, to take out every other religion, to eclipse it, to be superior to it, to have the people leave every religion and to accept Islam. And if that requires fighting to achieve it, then it requires fighting to achieve it. Because the greatest purpose for which jihad was legislated is to make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest.
There you have it. Now, the whole object of this video is to discuss freedom of speech. And I believe that if you're not of the chosen few, your freedom of speech is eroded. It's very sad. I still believe your words, sticks and stones can break your bones. Words can never hurt you. And you shouldn't be arrested. If you're saying to somebody, go and kill that person, well, I think that's incitement to murder, which is a different thing. If you're stupid enough to say that, well, you do deserve not to go to prison, but to be chastised, because that word didn't kill them. It's not when a person buys a gun, it's not the gun that kills the person, it's the person that kills, because the person pulls the trigger. The gun's got no control over it. You get my meaning. Anyway, let's just bring up this for another time. Here we go again with the doomsday, the Islamic doomsday clock. Where are we on this? I mean, we've well past number 5, and we infiltrate and target seats in government. Well, they've already done that, and on top of that, I think we've got over 15 Muslim mayors now in the UK. Doing well, aren't they? Hey, what's happening to you stupid, lazy, backward British people who should be standing up for what your fathers and grandfathers died for your freedom? And now you're letting a Stasi government take it off you. And then assert their dominance. Well, they do that. They go on the streets all over Europe, praying, blocking streets, showing that, oh, what are you going to do? You going to stop us? No. And then they create a party of Islam. Well, they've got the Palestine party now, haven't they? So even that, so where are we? That's number 8. And then they use Islamist phobia to support and suppress free speech. Well, that certainly happened helped along the way by the present government. We've had Islamic attacks in the past. At the moment, we seem not to have them. But don't sit on your hands, because I think. And what will happen next? I think we're getting very close to 11 o'clock now, because the influx of people from lands who are just storming, illegal people coming to the country, invading your country, will obviously fall into line with these people. And I believe a lot of these are getting sent here anyway to disrupt the country, and they're doing a damn good job. And they've finally established their laws, Sharia law. I think the clock is nearly gone full circle. I think we're nearly there. And I think a lot of people, there is a lot of brave people who are very, very fed up of being closed down, not being able to speak and say what they want to speak. The media has been so selective because they are afraid. Even some of the media that I really believe in. For example, I well believe in, I watch a lot Talk TV, because I believe that they're probably the closest to saying it the way it is than any other media in UK. I think GB News is slightly falling over now and starting to conform. But as far as the BBC should be defunded, it has no concerns about what's really going on. You're in a bad place. And as far as I see it, if you don't change things very soon, well, it's sayonara, UK, and hello, Englistan. It's going to happen. It happened in Lebanon in 3 generations. We've already got people saying in England, well, we are Muslims and we built the UK. They've been there 3 generations, but they built the UK. But again, that's in there. So if you want to know, the lady who wrote the book, she's named Bridget, and I can't remember her second name, but she wrote a book about the modus operandi of how to take over a country by the Muslim radicals, which they did her country, which was Lebanon, which used to be a Christian country. Enough for today. Hopefully it will change and we can have our country back and have a nice life. But don't hold your breath, folks.